Hi friends, we're reading Gooseberry Park and we're on page 77. Professor Albert started for the kitchen. Double, uh-oh, Murray said again, stuffing the Oreo in his mouth and looking for a place to hide. The professor took a few more steps towards the kitchen, but before he could get there, crash! What? The professor spun around, and on the living room floor, Professor Albert's Chinese ginger jar lamp lay in 100 pieces, and Kona sat very still and wagged his tail, just a bit. Murray seized his opportunity. The cookie still in his mouth, he grabbed 2 more with his feet and flew down the basement steps. Back in the living room, Professor Albert was saying that he didn't understand how a lamp could just knock itself off a table, and why did he keep thinking he heard a bird in the house? And really, weren't the past 24 hours just the strangest anyone had ever seen? Kona, glancing over at sleeping Gwendolyn, tried to wipe the guilty look off of his face. Why did Kona look guilty? Who do you think knocked down that Chinese ginger jar lamp? And why do you think Kona did that? He could not have agreed more with Professor Albert. Chapter 12, Food and Conversation. For the next few days, while Kona and Gwendolyn tried to figure out how to find Stumpy, bags of nacho chips, boxes of after-dinner mints, jars of crunchy peanut butter, and the occasional chocolate bar with almonds kept disappearing mysteriously from the kitchen. Poor Professor Albert. He would stand in front of the refrigerator or in front of the pantry, scratching his head in confusion. He would tell himself that he was not getting senile, and that he just thought he bought a bag of chips or that jar of peanut butter. No cans of lima beans or spinach ever disappeared. It was as if some force in the universe wanted Professor Albert to eat only healthy things, and he still couldn't figure out why Kona was so nervous every time they watched Jeopardy. Things certainly had seemed odd since that ice storm, but Professor Albert's problems were nothing compared to Kona's. The dog was constantly going through the house, picking up empty potato chip bags or candy wrappers. If Professor Albert found these, he would surely think that Kona was the one taking his food, and Kona certainly was not the one. Who do you think it is? If you think it's Murray, it's Murray. Yeah, it's Murray. You have to clean up after yourself, Murray, Kona would say to the bat. Oh, sorry, Kona, Murray would answer, but I was watching Days of Our Lives through the heat vent, and I was so upset about Daniel and Laura that I forgot those Milky Way wrappers. Daniel is such a rat. Still, in spite of this hectic life and his worries about Stumpy, Kona was enjoying having Murray and the babies at his house, and late night was the best time of all. Long after Professor Albert had gone off to bed, complaining again that he just couldn't understand where an entire bag of Chips Ahoy would disappear to, and speculating that another of those pesky chipmunks was sneaking in, Kona finally was able to relax and would softly pad over to Gwendolyn's bowl, pick her up gently in his mouth, and the two would sneak down in the basement. Murray, being nocturnal, was always wide awake at night and usually swinging by his feet somewhere. When Kona and Gwendolyn appeared, he would do a little somersault and land with his wings outspread. Ta-da, he'd sing. So who's got the Pepsi? Top, Bottom, and Sparrow would lift their little heads and look up from the box at Gwendolyn. Oh dear, such pretty babies, the crab would fuss. Such chubby little legs. And is that a tooth you have, Mr. Bottom? Gwendolyn's antenna moved wildly in the air. Kona beamed with joy, for he loved the babies too. Then the friends would all gather in and around the box in the quiet night. Murray told vampire jokes. Why do vampires brush their teeth in the morning? To fight bat breath. Gwendolyn read everyone's palm, and Kona told them again the story of his icy journey to Gooseberry Park, and they all loved to hear it. Can you see them all sitting there at night together? There's Top, Bottom, and Sparrow, and Gwendolyn, and Murray, and Kona, having their late night snacks and talking. We'll read some more tomorrow.